Hello everyone. Today we'll step into one of the most turbulent chapters in the life journey of Lytucam, a woman who once thought she had left all her sorrows behind, only to face a new storm. Not from nature, but from the human heart. Just when life was beginning to feel peaceful again, Nam's former lover, the man who once helped Lytucam rebuild her home, suddenly appears. She brings with her the past, and the misunderstanding strong enough to turn everything upside down. Will Lytucam choose silence, or will she find the courage to protect the simple life she has built? Let's find out together in this new episode of the life of Lytucam, when the past returns. And if you love stories about resilience, kindness, and faith in the goodness of life, don't forget to subscribe to walk with us on this heartfelt journey. The narrow mountain road curved gently between the green terraces below. She stopped her motorbike by the roadside. The wind from the hillside brushed through her hair, but her heart refused to stay still. She looked down at her phone, her fingers trembling slightly. The name Nam still appeared on the screen, like a scar that never healed. How long had it been since the last time he answered her call? A faint smile crossed her lips, thin and fragile, like morning mist. The smile of a woman who once tried to be strong, but now stood here, in a quiet countryside far from home, just to wait for a familiar voice to return. She pressed call. The ringtone echoed in the still air, each ring stretching the invisible thread inside her chest. Once, twice. No one answered. She bit her lip, gripping the phone tighter. Anger, yes. Hurt, yes. But above all, a heavy sense of disbelief. "Can you really forget me that easily?" she whispered, her voice carried away by the soft wind. Just as she was about to hang up, a faint click broke the silence. Nam had answered. His voice was low, hoarse, calm, too calm. "Hello, what is it?" She froze for a moment, then forced herself to sound natural. "I'm nearby. I'd like to see you for a moment." "I'm at work right now. Maybe another time." Short, cold, final. That voice, the one that used to make her heart tremble with love, now struck her chest with pain. "Are you that busy that you can't spare even a minute to see me?" Silence. She could hear faintly the sound of papers turning. "What we had is long over," he said quietly. "There's nothing left to talk about." A gust of wind swept past. She tightened her grip on the handlebar, eyes red, but still refusing to cry. She let out a bitter, broken laugh. "So that's it. You've really changed, haven't you? You stayed here for her, didn't you?" She hung up before he could answer. The mountain wind blew harder, scattering her hair in every direction, but it couldn't scatter the bitterness rising in her heart. She stood there for a long time, staring toward the distant hills where Nam worked. A gray cloud drifted by, dimming the afternoon light. In her eyes now was not only the sorrow of someone left behind, but also the quiet calculation of a woman torn between love, resentment, and a wounded pride. And then, after the call with Nam, Ha sat silently by the roadside for a long time. The sky was still clear, the clouds still drifting, but inside her, a storm had already begun. She couldn't believe that the man who once loved her so deeply could now be so indifferent. The more she thought about it, the hotter her chest burned. Hurt turned into anger, and anger slowly twisted into something else. A strange, burning urge to make him remember that she had once existed. She pulled out her phone and dialed a familiar number. "It's me," she said. The man's voice on the other end was rough, laced with the click of a lighter and the faint sound of smoke being exhaled. "It's been a while," he said, half amused. "What's going on?" Ha gazed into the distance, toward the line of mountains ahead, her voice quiet, but edged with cold resolve. "I need you to help me with something small." Silence stretched for a moment before his low, mocking tone came through. "What kind of help do you need? Come over to my place. We'll talk details there." Ha spoke slowly, each word deliberate, as if even she was afraid of the thought taking shape in her mind. "You don't need to do much. Just make sure she runs into a little trouble, so she'll learn you can't take another woman's man and live in peace." She didn't know how far this would go or what it would cost. All she knew was that from that very moment, the gentle winds over Lytucam's quiet mountain home were about to carry a real storm. And in that storm, it wouldn't just be one woman who got hurt, but perhaps all of them. Even Nam himself would have to pay for the wounds that were never healed. About 10 minutes later, Ha stopped her motorbike in front of a small wooden house, her brother's place. She was still wearing the same white t-shirt, her hair tied neatly, but the calmness on her face was gone. In her eyes lingered something fragile, yet cold, the kind of look that comes when the heart is too full of things it can't say. Inside, her younger brother sat smoking, watching the thin trail of smoke curl upward. He looked up as she stepped in, a half-smile playing on his lips. "What's wrong this time, sis?" Ha sat down, gripping the strap of her bag tightly, trying to steady her voice. "You still remember Nam, don't you? He's different lately. Doesn't answer my calls, ignores my messages. I went to his office today. He avoided me." Her brother raised an eyebrow, exhaling a thin stream of smoke. "If he's avoiding you, that means there's someone else. You can tell when a man's heart changes. It's written all over his face." His words struck like a spark to dry leaves. Ha said nothing at first, but her eyes grew colder. "I think so too. There's some woman. Her name's Lytucam. She's always around him." The room fell silent. The only sound was the faint ticking of the clock. The afternoon sunlight streamed through the window, catching Ha's face, where pain was slowly hardening into resolve. "I need your help," she said hoarsely. "If that woman really came between us, I won't let her walk away easily." Her brother, Tien, grinned, a mischievous glint in his eyes. "That's easy. Just say the word and I'll go have a little talk with her." Ha looked at him, lips pressed tight. There was hesitation in her eyes, but it was quickly swallowed by jealousy and wounded pride. "Make sure she understands not to touch what belongs to me." Tien crushed the cigarette in the ashtray, poured himself a cup of tea, and smirked. "Don't worry, sis. Consider it done." Ha said nothing. She stared at the steaming cup of tea before her, feeling its warmth fade, just like her reason. Deep down, she knew she was crossing a line, but her heart no longer listened to reason. She had once loved Nam with everything she had, once believed that waiting would bring him back. But now, after seeing him turn away so coldly, that love had burned itself into a single thought. If Nam has truly stopped loving me, then I have nothing left to lose. The midday sun poured down on the narrow dirt road leading to the small field. The sound of a motorbike shattered the quiet air. Ha sat behind her brother, her face expressionless. but her eyes burned with fury. In the distance, the figure of Lytucam appeared, a simple woman, bending down to water a small patch of vegetables beside her hut. The motorbike stopped. Dust swirled into the air. Lytucam looked up, startled. She had never met Ha before, yet something in the woman's gaze told her trouble had arrived. Ha stepped down from the bike, her voice sharp as a blade. "You're Lytucam, aren't you?" Lytucam nodded softly, still unsure of what was happening. But before she could speak, Ha moved closer, her words trembling with pent-up anger. "Tell me, what did you do to make Nam turn away from me?" The air grew heavy. Ha's brother stood behind her, arms crossed, his eyes full of disdain. Lytucam's voice remained calm, almost gentle. "You must be mistaken, sister. Nam and I were just acquaintances. It's not what you think." Ha let out a bitter laugh, half mocking, half pained. "Acquaintances? Do you think I'm that stupid? He's been avoiding me for days, and now he's here, helping you. You think I wouldn't find out?" Her voice rose higher, trembling with anger. Lytucam took a small step back, trying to keep her composure. "If you don't believe me, then ask him yourself. I just want a quiet life." But those words only fueled the fire inside Ha. She lunged forward, grabbing Lytucam by the collar, her voice breaking, half rage, half heartbreak. "A quiet life? You stole my man, and you still dare to say you want peace?" Lytucam froze. Her eyes glistened with sadness, not fear. "I didn't steal anyone," she said softly. "If he chose to leave, then maybe you should ask yourself why, instead of blaming someone else." The words struck like a knife to Ha's pride. Her brother stepped forward, his tone harsh and threatening. "My sister's right. You think we'll stay quiet just because you act innocent?" The air felt tight, like a string pulled to its breaking point. Cicadas screamed from the trees, adding heat to the already burning tension. Yet Lytucam remained still, calm, silent, her eyes deep and unwavering. It was as if no insult, no anger could ever touch the quiet strength she carried within. Lytucam stood there, her face calm, though her eyes had already blurred with tears. She couldn't understand why this stranger, this woman, looked at her with such hatred. "Speak," Ha shouted, her voice trembling with rage, finger pointed straight at Lytucam's face. "How did you seduce Nam?" "I didn't," Lytucam barely managed to say, before a slap, hard as thunder, struck across her cheek. The sound cracked through the still air, sharp and violent. Even the birds in the forest fell silent. Ha stood there, her hands still shaking, her eyes burning with a mix of bitterness and hate. "Stop pretending to be pure," she screamed. "I can see exactly what kind of woman you are." Lytucam raised a trembling hand to her cheek, a trace of blood at the corner of her lips. Yet she didn't fight back. She only looked at Ha, her eyes quiet, sorrowful. "If doing this makes you feel better," she said softly, "then fine. Think I'm the one to blame. I have no wish to fight over anyone." Ha's brother stepped forward, grabbing Lytucam roughly by the wrist. "My sister's been polite enough," he snapped. "You think you can play innocent here? I'll teach you to know your place." He yanked her toward the yard. Lytucam stumbled, her clothes catching dust from the dry ground, her eyes shimmering with tears she refused to shed. Just as he was about to shove her down the steps, a voice thundered from behind, deep, firm, commanding. "Let her go." Everyone froze. Nam was standing there, his expression cold, his eyes blazing with anger. He strode forward, seizing Tuan's arm and flinging it aside. "What do you think you're doing?" Tuan hesitated, stepping back, startled by the force in Nam's voice. Ha stood still, wide-eyed, as Nam turned toward Lytucam, helping her up with gentle hands. "Are you hurt?" Lytucam shook her head faintly. Her lips parted, but no words came out. Nam looked back at Ha, his voice low, filled with quiet disappointment. "Ha, what are you doing? I just wanted the truth. Ha's voice cracked. You've changed, and you're telling me I'm the one at fault? Nam was silent for a moment, then sighed deeply, speaking in a voice that trembled with restraint. I never promised to stay with anyone, but if you still think of me as someone you once knew, then don't ever lay a hand on her again. Ha froze. The mountain wind swept through, tossing her hair in the hem of her dress, and in that instant, her tears finally fell. Not from anger, but from the quiet, painful realization that the man standing before her was no longer hers. Ha walked away, her shoulders trembling under the harsh midday sun. Her figure slowly disappeared beyond the hill, leaving only the fading sound of the motorbike until it vanished completely into the wind. Nam stood still, watching. He knew there are wounds that no apology can heal, and in some stories, there is no one truly right or wrong, only hearts that have grown tired. Lytucam gently touched the sting on her cheek, a faint, wistful smile curving her lips. Don't be angry with her, she whispered. That woman, she's just in pain. Nam turned to her, his gaze lingering, deep, heavy, and sorrowful. And you, aren't you afraid? Lytucam smiled softly. Of course I am, but being afraid won't change anything. I just hope this will all pass soon. Nam nodded quietly. He pulled out a chair and sat beside her. Neither spoke. The evening breeze passed through the thatched roof, carrying with it the damp scent of earth and the faint fragrance of red flowers outside the porch. Then, the rain began. Soft drops pattered on the roof, tapping gently on the bamboo table, turning the small, humble space into a calm, endless sea of silence. Nam hurried outside, reaching up to cover the part of the roof that leaked. Lytucam watched him through the rain, her heart swelling with gratitude and something she couldn't name. When he came back in, his shirt drenched, she stood up, took an old towel, and gently wiped the raindrops from his shoulders. Neither said a word. Only the rhythm of the rain remained, steady, soothing, and the quiet warmth of something small, yet deeply real, settling between two souls who had just weathered a storm. Nam's voice broke the silence, low, calm, and tender. You've been through a lot. Lytucam smiled, her eyes glistening like glass beneath the soft light. Everyone suffers, sooner or later. What matters is whether we can still stand up again after the rain. Nam looked at her, and for the first time in days, he smiled too. Outside, the red flowers by the field swayed gently in the rain, as if unaware of all the tempests that had just passed. Beneath that damp, gray sky, with only the sound of rain whispering around them, two people sat quietly under the porch. No promises, no confessions, only a shared stillness, as if peace, at long last, had found its way back home.
Xem mỗi một ánh mắt đều là một trái tim cùng đồng cảm, đều là nguồn động lực để cho những câu chuyện như thế này được tiếp tục viết nên. Nếu cuộc sống còn buồn bã, đôi khi chỉ cần những giây phút lắng lại là sẽ nhận ra rằng niềm tin, lòng nhân ái và sự sẻ chia luôn có sức mạnh chữa lành kỳ diệu. Và cũng chính nhờ có bạn người không ngại dành thời gian quý giá để đồng hành, mà hành trình của nhân vật trong câu chuyện này trở nên trọn vẹn hơn, ấm áp hơn. Dù phía trước vẫn còn nhiều chông gai, nhưng chỉ cần trái tim con người biết hướng về nhau thì bóng tối nào sẽ được soi sáng bởi một tia hy vọng. Xin gửi đến bạn lời cảm ơn chân thành nhất. Hẹn gặp lại các bạn trong các tập tiếp theo, nơi câu chuyện còn tiếp tục mở ra và những bước chân kiên cường, những mơ ước lặng lẽ và niềm tin chưa bao giờ tắt. Cảm ơn các bạn rất nhiều. Chúc các bạn luôn bình an.